Hey, what's up, guys? Timberwolf here, bringing you a video. Difference between Live Patch 10.05 and the PTR Patch 10.07 for a Ret Paladin. Uh, Jumping straight into the action here. So what I'm trying to do is take down one of these trash mobs. Uh, Struggling just on the first person. I believe I get it down to about 18% at one point, but I never actually beat them. I'm blowing through all my cooldowns and still nothing. Obviously, this is on the hardest level. So this is a mythic Dragonflight dungeon. So still just burning through all my cooldowns, healing as much as possible. I use certain talents for healing and so on, so that stay as live as much as possible, and I also try to keep my health up and do as much damage as possible. So just doing my best trying to stay alive and just even take one of these guys down. This is like really disappointing because as a Ret Paladin, they've really ruined it in Dragonflight. And I've played a Ret Paladin since vanilla. I've tried other things, but Ret Paladin, or just Paladin in general, I've just loved. It's just part of my personality, so I just like their style. Except in Dragonflight, which most people have complained about it since they've been come out with Dragonflight, because they just die easy. They don't do as much damage as they used to, and they just die. And Blizzard even said that they know there's an issue that they die. They said that they're actually one of the highest classes that die in pretty much all content. Anyways, getting into the BTR now. This is some of the talents that I've spec'd into. They did change some stuff around since some of the other guys I've watched on YouTube, they were showing off the talents. They moved some things around. They took some things out. So what I've done is I've pretty much spec'd into as much as possible into surviving, healing, and a bit of damage so that I can take them down, obviously. So I'm not just like sitting there healing the whole time and just tapping them. They did reset the talent, so some of my spells are not on my bars here, so I have to move some things around. You notice that my Crusader Strike is still on my bar. There is a talent that you can spec into that makes it a passive to actually hit with your auto attacks, and your auto attacks will gain holy power because your Crusader Strike being joined up with it. So if you notice that these guys are going down a lot more faster, and I'm using some of my spells to keep me up. They are a lot more easier to keep me up, and I don't get hit as hard. I tend to use the flash light a fair amount because it's an instant cooldown if you spec into it. And well, not instant cooldown, instant cast, and then a 6-second cooldown. And I also use Word of Glory to top me up and give me an extra heal. It also gives me a shield. And then I use the Justicar's Vengeance to attack, and then also gives me another heal as well. Talented into Divine Wrath. Avenging Wrath for 1 minute, because I just feel like that is more useful to me. 1 minute cooldown instead of 2 minutes, and I don't really have to worry about it is pretty much as soon as it comes up, I just spam it. Just hit it with my other cooldowns as soon as it comes up, and then I'm good to go. Not even worrying if it's trash or hit the right moment. It's a 1 minute cooldown. Like it's, yeah, I did die there, but that's because I pulled way too many people, and it is a mythic, so that's reality. You shouldn't be able to solo too much of it. Anyway, so getting on to the first boss here, I already cleared out the entire trash there, just testing it, but I just skip it just so that you guys don't have to see all the extra stuff here. So I'm getting used to the new way of playing here, the Paladin, or should I say, the old way of playing. So you do have to still respect the mechanics, because if you don't, you will die. So the main thing is taking down all these bosses solo is respecting their mechanics, like don't stand and stuff, because if you do, you're gonna instantly die. And avoid, obviously, objects coming at you, and keeping your health up using I usually use the three main ones to keep my health up: the Word of Glory, the Flashlight, and the sorry, I always mess up this one, Judikar's Vengeance. Just to keep my health up, and then whenever there's a cooldown for the shields, there is two of them now. I will just pop them, and then I usually pop my wings at the same time. So then it's good rotation for me, and do damage without taking anything. And the rest of the time, I'm just trying to stay alive. Yeah, see, bosses are not that hard to take down. So we'll skip on to the next boss here in a second, just to show you that taking them all out. Boss number 2. So yeah, just start off with doing some damage here. You notice my some of my things are on cooldown because I blew them just doing regular mobs, because I can. So I just used it again, and just keeping up my my damage, and then throwing some heals up. And again, just respecting the mechanics, because if I just sat there and took it, I'd be dead. And this is how it should be. Like, you should be able, especially as a plate wearer, like I would expect a Death Knight and a warrior to be able to do this as well. Just respect the mechanics, heal yourself up a bit, and just take them down. This is pretty fun, actually. I like doing a lot of solos, and used to do a lot more when I was, the Ret Paladin wasn't so broken. But I like the feel, and it's working out great. These guys are not even that hard to take down. You just gotta make sure you respect the mechanics and keep up your heals. All right, moving on to the third boss. So I did clear the trash around this boss, just because I didn't want any extra jumping in on my pull. And he can be a little bit. You got to pay attention to some of his mechanics too, because like if you're dealing with a mob and they're hitting you hard, or they're doing certain spells you need to interrupt, and then this boss comes along and he knocks you out and jumps on you and pretty much one-shots you. You got to make sure that everything's clear, right? Yeah, but for most part, this is very fun. I am loving these changes, and I'm excited for the new patch. You're gonna see a whole new wave of Ret Paladins coming in. You're gonna see them in PvP, and you're gonna see them in PvE. This feels really good in PvP too. So you don't just like die so easily anymore, and you can actually do some damage. And that's what melee should be able to do. Is they should be able to do a fair amount of damage, because they can't always get to what they're trying to kill. Anyways, this is the last boss here, so I'm going to try to burn down him as much as possible. So I'm going to pop some cooldowns. But anyways, so yeah, the melee should be able to hit harder, because like I said, things move around so quickly, and they can't always get to what they can. But if they get to it, they should be able to hit it hard. Which, to me, it just makes sense. Where if you're a caster, you always can target the person, like who you're trying to target, and hit them from afar, and you can hit them more often, and you don't lose any like, you know, damage from being a little bit far away or being turned around or so on. Like it just makes more sense that a melee should hit harder once you get there. And they should make it a lot more slippier for casters or range people to be able to get away. You know, just to me that would just make more sense, but we'll see what they decide to do. Either way, right now the Ret Paladin just feels really good. Like it's bringing me back to the Legion or even the Wrath of Lich King days, where it's a lot more simpler. Instead of having to press 11 buttons to do any damage, you're pressing like, you know, 4 or 5 to do damage. You know, there's like a couple of ones that go on a minute cooldown, and then there's like 5 buttons for your rotation. Anyways, thanks for watching, guys. Like or subscribe if you like the video, and we'll see you next time.